Om. 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 Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavtu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwarah Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Namaste. I welcome you all to this last but one event of the Singapore Festival of Hinduism 2020. My name is Neelam Agarwal and I am the MC for this session. The topic today is a joyful one, Hindu festivals. Let us warmly welcome our two presenters, Anuradha ji and Sita Lakshmi ji, who will share with us the diversity in the various Hindu festivals and the elements of joy and devotion in them. S. Anuradha is a volunteer at Hindu Center and has been teaching Hinduism since 2004 and Vedic Yoga since 2009. She is a financial journalist by profession and has written a work of fiction entitled The Friendless God and edited lecture series Advaita Vedanta in Shiva Samhita. Our Sita Lakshmi has been a special needs educator for the last 15 years. She volunteers with the Singapore prison as a Hindu religious counselor. She continues to acquire greater in-depth knowledge about Hinduism at the Hindu Center. Questions may be sent in through the comment box on Facebook and YouTube. Over to you, Anuradha ji.
Namaste. Today, Sita and I will take you into the wonderful world of Hindu festivals. Let's begin the celebration. Many years ago, I saw a poster in Singapore for a color run. Basically, the poster was asking people to join the run and come there to start the run with wearing white clothes. And every 1 kilometer, they would be doused with color. And at the end of the 10-kilometer run, they would have been all colored, they would have enjoyed themselves, got some good health, and contributed and got some good karma also by contributing to the charity organized by the run. Hindu festivals are like that. They're a more ancient version of celebration, good karma, but very importantly, they're centered around God and nature. Can we have the next slide? So today we're going to talk about, there are many Hindu festivals, but we're going to talk about a few Hindu festivals and what is the key learning from these festivals for us, how they're celebrated, and what are the key learnings from here. Now, human beings are basically a combination, they're an amalgamation of the 5 sense organs. And we always like to engage ourselves with 5 sense organs. So Hindu festivals offer an opportunity to engage our senses and very importantly, in the process, attain merit and good karma. I mean, we can enjoy a lot, but if we are breaking the law or if we are doing the wrong thing, that doesn't help. Festivals, on the contrary, help us do the right thing while enjoying ourselves. Through festivals, we engage with the universe, with human beings and other living beings. It's also a great opportunity to manage What is a very modern problem? Isolation. We just don't know how to reach out to people, enjoy with others, be kind to others. Festivals offer us all these opportunities to do these kind of actions. And very importantly, festivals are also an opportunity for us to offer our gratitude to the universe which has given us sunlight, water, wind, and beautiful things in nature, given us food, and also understand the interdependent nature of the universe. We need the living, we need each other, we need the other living beings, we need nature. Hindu festivals tell us that. Now, before we talk about festivals, I want to share a little bit about what is the role of festivals in a Hindu life. Now, for a Hindu, there are basically two goals that are offered to any Hindu. Either a Hindu can opt to live a life of happiness and enjoyment, or they can seek liberation. Now, and how does one attain both these goals? One attains these goals by gaining merit and punya, because gaining merit, punya is the factor which helps us getting comfortable situations. And because of these comfortable situations, we are able to enjoy more, gain more happiness. And if our goal is liberation, the same punya creates the right circumstances for us to attain liberation. So for all Hindus, the one all-season ticket for either happiness and liberation is punya. And what gets us this punya? Let's see. Okay, now how does one get punya? Punya, for Hindus, there is a daily opportunity to gain punya. Every day you have to do five things through which I can get punya, which is praying to God, taking care of my family, studying the scriptures, the Hindu scriptures, taking care of human beings, and taking care of living beings. These are daily duties, irrespective of what age or community we belong to. We have to do this as a Hindu. Then there are what are called occasional duties. Occasional duties are celebrating festivals and those sacred days associated with God. So right at the core of Hinduism is punya, and one of the key ways to attain punya is observing festivals. So that is why you see how our rishis and our shastras have given festivals a very, very important place in the religion. Now, we have, because we need to gain punya, we have a calendar. It's an event-filled calendar. Like all of us who go to work, or at the beginning of the year, we write down all our calendar, travel calendar, meetings calendar, this calendar, that calendar. The Hindu religious calendar is like this. The Hindu festival, the Hindu New Year starts in April. Contrary to the English calendar, which starts in January, the Hindu calendar starts in April for most Hindus and ends in March. And virtually in every month, we have some or the other festival, which gives us an opportunity to pray to Ishvara and gain punya. For example, Chitra. We are using the Tamil words for these months, but then there are other names are there for these names. So in the month of Chitra, we have the New Year. So most Hindus have their New Year in this month. And of course, there is also Ramanavami. That festival is there. And Adi Masam. Now, this is a month which is also called Shravan. This month has got many festivals. Most of the Hindu festivals are in this month. Festivals like Raksha Bandhan, Varalakshmi Vrata, Krishna Jayanti, they all fall in this month. Then we have Avani, where we have two very popular festivals, Ganesh Chaturthi and Onam. Then we have Puratasi, where the grand festival of Navaratri takes place. And then Aipasi and Kartika are it's again a festival heavy month, where you have, of course, the biggest and the grandest of them all, Deepavali, Kartika Deepam. Today is a great auspicious day. We have Kartika Deepam, and we are really blessed indeed to have this presentation on such a festive day. And then Skanda Shashti Vrata and Chhat Puja. The following month, which is Margari, Bhagwan Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that among the months, his favorite month is the Margari Masam. And there we have Vaikunta Ekadashi, which is celebrated by the Vaishnavites, and Arudra Abhishekam or Arudra Darshanam, as it is called, by the Shaivites. These are again two beautiful ancient festivals that we celebrate. Tai is the month which is what is called again the beginning of Uttarayanam, and an auspicious month. There is a saying in Tamil, Tai Porandal Vali Porakkum. That means all good things happen in Tai. So weddings take place in Tai, all opportunities, new businesses start in Tai, and there we have the great harvest festival, Tai Pongal, also called Makara Sankranti, and of course the festival that all Singaporeans know very well, Tai Pusam. And then Masi Masam, which is really March towards end, February and March is the end. We have Shivaratri, an austere celebration of observation of Vrata, and Holi, which is of course the greatest festival of colors, enjoyment, and complete, lack of inhibitions. You're celebrating really nature and oneself. So this is like how the calendar. So you can see it's a real busy calendar. There is no dearth of enjoyment. There is no dearth of fun in the Hindu world. Now, we've seen how the festivals are divided based on just a calendar. Now, the question one may ask is, do we have to celebrate all the festivals? Say, for example, I'm not a Shiva Bhakta, so do I need to celebrate all the festivals is a question one may ask. So what happens is that we have a certain categorization of all the Hindu faiths, all the Hindu different gods. Adi Shankara has created a format called Shanmatham, where he says that, based on your based on your likes, you can worship a particular deity. So in Shanmatha, what is the organization is the classification is on 6 important deities. So each one of us can choose one deity based on either my family beliefs or my own personal choice. I can take up that particular deity and observe all the festivals of that particular deity. So let us see in this category, how are the festivals placed. For example, if you're a Shaivite, then the important festivals you will celebrate are Mahashivaratri and Arudra Darshanam. If you're a Vaishnavite, you will celebrate Ramanavami, Krishna Jayanti, Vaikunta Ekadashi. If you're a Shakta, you have the opportunity to celebrate Navaratri. If you're a Kaumaram, if you follow Kaumaram, which means you worship only Subramanya, not anyone else, then you observe festivals like Taipusam, Panguni Uttaram, Kanda Shashti, Vrata. If you are a follower of Ganapatyam, which is praying to only Ganesha, then you have Ganesh Chaturthi. If you are a follower and worshipper of Sauram, then you observe Tai Pongal. Sauram is worshipping only the sun god. Tai Pongal, Makara Sankranti, Chhat Puja. And then there are certain festivals which are universal, irrespective of which sect you belong to. You observe the New Year, which is in this case the Chitra New Year. We also call it Ugadi, Baisakhi, Vishu, Tamil Puttandu. We have different names for it. And then Deepavali and Raksha Bandhan. Of course, we have also the choice to celebrate all these festivals. The more festivals you observe, the more you enjoy, the more punya you get. So it's just a win-win-win kind of situation. See? Now, I wanted to just highlight the festivals in the Hindu tradition are divided into 2 ways. Festivals are observed in 2 ways. One is called Vrata and another is called Utsava. Now, Vrata means they're basically festivals, but they're categorized. Vrata is a more austere way of observing a festival. For example, in a Vrata, you would typically be fasting, continuously doing pujas, chanting, or keeping awake. So this is more austere. And these vratas include Shivaratri, Vaikunta Ekadashi, Varalakshmi Vrata, Taipusam Vrata, Navaratri Vrata, Kedara Gaula Vrata, Skanda Shashti Vrata. Here, key is fasting, doing intensive prayers. Now, Utsava, on the other hand, are basically festivities. There is prayer. No Hindu festival is without a prayer. Ishvara is at the heart of it. But here, In an Utsava, the festivities are more at the community level, and there's more of enjoyment, there is more of fun here. And the festivals which are come under this category are Deepavali, Pongal, Holi, Raksha Bandhan. But honestly speaking, all Hindu festivals are a combination of both Vrata and Utsava. We also follow some austerities, we also enjoy, we also have a community lookout, we also have an individual lookout. So it's a very beautiful blend, you see. I also wanted to take this opportunity to share with you, where do we get the source for all these festivals? I mean, are these festivals, have these been started by greeting card companies or flower bouquet companies or sweet companies? Who have started these festivals? Where do we get, what's the origin of these festivals? All these festivals are very, very, very ancient. Ancient as in the real ancient past. And the source for all these festivals are texts called Puranas. Puranas actually talk about all these vratas and how to observe these, the significance of these vratas. And there are also called the puja paddhatis. The puja paddhatis tell you how to observe a particular vrata and what is the benefit of observing a particular vrata. This is very important because I won't even move an inch if I don't know what is the benefit in it for me. So Hindu rishis are very clear. They tell you how to pray and what you're going to get out of this. Okay, now we are going to discuss a few of these festivals we have in mind. Ramanavami, Raksha Bandhan, Ganesh Chaturthi, Navaratri, Deepavali, Ekadashi, Pongal, Taipusam, and Shivaratri. We followed the calendar, the Hindu calendar, April to March. And here, let's start with the festival. The only thing you won't get here is the sweets. Everything else is ensured. You know, a lot of punya sitting through these slides and a lot of enjoyment, you see, except food, which you can, of course, gather your whatever meals you've made or your drink, and we will start enjoying now. The very first festival we are going to talk about is Ramanavami. This festival actually commemorates, this usually falls in March or April, and it commemorates the birth of Lord Rama, one of the avatars of Vishnu. Now this, it falls on a Navami, that's the Tithi. See, every Hindu festival falls on a certain day. It's unlike it's not like the second weekend of this month and the fourth weekend of that month. That's not how it looks at. It looks at a Tithi, a particular date in the lunar calendar. It celebrates the birth of Lord Rama. And we're going to talk about what each festival celebration involves in, and also what is the value that we can imbibe through each festival. For example, the value to imbibe in Ramanavami is internalizing the value of dharma. Rama stood for everything that was dharmic, and very important aspect of dharma is swadharma, that is doing my own duty. So that is what we learn through this festival. By observing it, we get punya, and at the same time, we internalize the value of observing dharma. This festival comes in the peak of the summer season. And so certain communities will offer a very austere naivedyam or offering, food offering to the Lord. Although Lord Rama is Raja Ram, he's Lord, he's the king. But the offerings are very austere, like buttermilk, and there's a jaggery juice called panagam, and then there is a salad, very healthy. That's something we can learn. Because nowadays, even our TV channels will show, eat moderately during Deepavali. So, our rishis knew this. So even the food for Ramanavami is very austere. It's a salad made of sprouted beans and vegetables, So that's the Naivedyam which is offered to our dear Lord Rama. The next festival is a very grand festival called Raksha Bandhan. And I'm very proud to say that Hindu Center in Singapore has innovated this festival. Traditionally, this festival is celebrated between brothers and sisters, you see. And it falls in the month of August. It falls on a Paurnami day. Some other communities also celebrate what is called the Avaniyavattam. They change their thread ceremony on this day. It's a very sacred month, Paurnami of that Shravan Mansam. And the value to be imbibed through Raksha Bandhan is universal brotherhood. As I said, traditionally it is celebrated where sisters tie threads around their brothers' wrists for their protection and well-being. But Hindu Center in 2006 decided that they are going to use this festival as a platform to promote universal brotherhood in a multiracial, multicultural society like Singapore. So we have been celebrating, and this festival, over 500 people attend every year. This year, of course, we didn't do it because of COVID. Next year, please come. It's a wonderful event. We have drawing competition for children. We have lots of cultural events. And at the end of it, the highlight is that we tie threads to each and every person who we meet. So really, we feel that brotherhood, the sisterhood, and we enjoy it. So this is a great festival where we overcome our differences as whoever we may be and want to be just known as human beings, see. So that festival is an ancient festival, but given a very modern and a smart spin in Singapore by the Hindu Center. The next festival, of course, is of our dear Ganesha. I must say, one of the most popular gods. I mean, if there was any popularity contest, you know which god is going to win it, hands down, and that is Lord Ganesha. This is a festival which celebrates the birth of Lord Ganesha. This festival comes on the Chaturthi day, the fourth day of the lunar month, sometimes in August or sometimes in September. You see, the Puranas say that this is a festival that can be celebrated by anybody. You know, if you see in India, you don't need a grand temple for Ganesha. You can even have a Ganesha temple under the tree. You can have a Ganesha temple. You can have a Ganesha statue, a very elaborate Ganesha statue, or you can even have a statue icon made of just turmeric powder. So you can worship him anyhow, anywhere. And the Puranas also support this. They say any section of society, anybody can celebrate this festival. Because traditionally, you know, they will be say, these people can celebrate, these people can't celebrate. But since the ancient past, everybody has been celebrating this. This is also like Raksha Bandhan, see, innovative. Like in modern times, we have innovated Raksha Bandhan. This festival was innovated in the 19th century during the British rule in India. So this was just a personal, private home temple festival. But in the 19th century, they converted into modern, into a social festival. You know, the large communities would gather and awareness was created against the British rule. Now also, it's a huge festival. It's a great community festival. And, you know, some years back, it used to be only celebrated largely in Western and Southern India. But now it's celebrated all over India and also in other parts of the world. So really a festival which is gaining ground. And what is the value in this festival for us? Seeing divinity in everything. Here is a god we worship who has an elephant head. He has a big paunch. It's nothing beautiful as whatever we call it, but we see beauty in everything in nature. And the realization that God is the remover of all obstacles, because whatever we try to do, there'll be an obstacle. And who will remove it? It's God. So with this, I'll take a short break and my colleague Sita will be sharing about other festivals.
Navaratri, a day, 9 days celebrating Mother Goddess Durga. And here we are going to learn more about that. But for this segment, you are going to watch a video.
Namaste. Let us understand more about Navaratri today. Navaratri is a 10-day festival. Navaratri means 9 nights. The 10th day is called Vijayadashmi, means victory on the 10th day. We worship different forms of Shaktis on these 9 days. Day 1 to day 3, we worship 3 different forms of Ma Durga. Day 4 to day 6, we worship 3 different forms of Ma Lakshmi. Day 7 to day 9, we worship 3 different forms of Ma Saraswati. The ninth day, we celebrate Saraswati Puja or Ayudha Puja. On that day, whatever the job we are doing related to that objects, books, musical instruments, toolbox, cash box, all these are placed in the lotus feet of Ma Saraswati, do puja and get her blessings. On the 10th day, we celebrate Vijayadashmi. We start new things like joining new classes, enroll children into the school, open new account. Toddlers are taught to read and write. Vijayadashmi is celebrated in different parts of India in different ways. In the eastern part, that is West Bengal and Assam, it marks the end of Durga Puja. This festival signifies Ma Durga's victory over demon Mahishasura. In this region, pandals or stages are set up for Ma Durga and celebrated very elaborately. On the last day, that is on the Vijayadashmi day, Ma Durga statues, Lakshmi, Saraswati are carried in a big procession to the river and ocean and immersed in the holy water. This ritual is called Visarjan or immersion. In the northern, central and western part of India, this festival is called Dashara or Dasara. This festival signifies Lord Rama's victory over Ravan, the finale of Ram Leela. Last day of Dashara, towering effigies of Ravan are burnt with fireworks, symbolizes triumph of good over evil. In both festivals, we celebrate with music and dance called Dandiya. A lot of people participate in this dance. In South India, we celebrate Navratri in a very unique way. We follow the tradition of keeping Golu. Golu is a display of dolls in a step arrangement. Usually, we keep odd number of steps, which starts from 3, which can go up to 15. We place dolls made of clay or paper mache. Each step in the Golu has a greater spiritual significance. This is a metaphor of ascending towards enlightenment. The lower step starts with animals and plants, the next one humans, displaying wedding, shops, daily day activities. The middle steps will have sages, scholars, leaders, avatara purushas, and the next one, different forms of or avatars of god and goddesses. On the top, the main deities like Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Trimurti, Ganesha and Kartikeya are placed. We do puja and arati to the deities in the Golu every day. We invite friends and relatives to see our Golu and give them haldi kumkum. During Navratri, we celebrate womanhood. Girls aged under 12 are worshipped as Bala Tripura Sundari and we do Kanya Puja. In North, they do it as Kumari Puja. Elderly ladies and married women are worshipped as Suhasnis, that is the different form of Shaktis, and give them Tambulam. During this festival, we exchange wishes, give gifts, and distribute prasad. Singing, dancing, and some form of music are showcased during this period. Children are encouraged to participate in dancing and singing, and also storytelling about God and goddesses dressed in different costumes to bring out the characters in the story. This way, we celebrate arts and develop the creativity in the children. Finally, Navaratri helps us to practice spirituality. During these 9 days, we do sadhana, practicing, fasting, meditation, singing divine songs, chanting slokas, and observing silence. This enhances our spirituality and helps us to overcome negativeness and invoke divine energy within us. It helps us to destroy tamas and rajagunas and bring out more sattva gunas. Our mind becomes calm, pure, and with more peace and clarity. With this mindset, on the Vijayadashmi day, whatever we start will be a successful one. During this festival, we not only pray for ourselves, but for the society at large. Loka samasta sugino bhavantu. Happy Navratri, Jai Mata Di.
I must say a special thanks to Mrs. Rajeshwari Krishnamurthy for doing this video and for Ramakrishna for putting up all this video together. Navaratri is celebrating the goddess within. She comes to us in the form of Durga, Kali, Parvati, Annapurna, and Shakti. For me, Navaratri personally not only gave victory, during the prayers, Ma Durga has guided me in my life. I'm very, very thankful for that. And I always feel very blessed and guided during this festival of Navaratri. Now, let's look at Deepavali. Deepavali is a Sanskrit word, means Deepa means lights and Avali means rose of light. And Deepavali is celebrated by millions of people, Hindus, Sikh, and Jain across the world. About more than 17 countries celebrate Deepavali. And this festival celebrates new beginnings and triumph over good and good over evil, light over darkness, and knowledge over ignorance. Deepavali is the festival of lights celebrated across India in unique and colorful ways. Before the day we clean homes, on that day we clean our body and mind too. Let's take a mini tour how Deepavali is celebrated around the world. That you can see fireworks, crackers, diyas, feast, all these are common sight in the celebration. And other parts of India celebrate slightly differently, but there are similarity. Let's see what's the difference and similarity. In northern India, it's welcoming of Lord Rama. He is returning after 14 years of exile in the forest. And it's also the new moon day of the Kartik month. And new moon day is total darkness. So people, they light up and celebrate welcoming Lord Rama. And this tradition is still continues at Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Haryana, Punjab, Bihar, and surrounding areas. In eastern India, like West Bengal and East Bengal, it's celebration of and welcoming of Ma Kali, the avatar of Durga. In Odisha, Gujarat, Western India, and even Maharashtra, if you were to see all of them light up during this festival, they draw rangoli and decorate their house, do their shopping, and finally on that day is definitely lighting up of diyas. And for Sindhis, there's a slight variation. They wash their gold and silver coins in milk before worshipping goddess Mahalakshmi. And then they do their puja. And the next day is called the Dhanadroyodashi. There's a special day for tradesmen and businessmen. And those who are having business, they open a new ledger account and pray to God, Lord Ganesha and Goddess Lakshmi to bless them with prosperity and fortune. But in South India, there is a slight difference. It is celebrated in the Tamil month called Aipasi, and it's called as Naraga Chaturthasi. It's the main day of Deepavali. The preparation begin the day before where they clean their stove and then start drawing kolam, prepare the water to boil for the oil bath. Historically, it's called as Naraga Chaturthasi because Naragasura was killed on this day by Lord Krishna. And when he was dying, he was telling Lord Krishna, today you're not killing only me, but all the wrongs that I did, this must be celebrated. So therefore, we should not celebrate the killing of Naraga's wrongdoing. We must celebrate the killing of all the wrongs within us. And that is when Deepavali happens. And I would like to also highlight that during the Deepavali day on On Deepavali day, all the South Indians will do oil bath. They'll take an oil bath. And on that day, Ma Ganga comes to your house. No matter wherever you are, which part of the world, is it India, America, UK, or whichever part you are, Ma Ganga is at your place in the water. So that is why it is very, very important for them to have oil bath before the sunrise. And that's a common question they will ask on Deepavali. Ganga Snana Macha. That means, have you taken bath, taken the holy bath? So you can see from this, on Deepavali day, we light up diyas and we worship and welcome God, Lord Ganesha and Lakshmi. It's a symbol of auspiciousness and wisdom worshipped in most Hindu house. So the customs and rituals may be different, but the message remains the same. Festivals of light shows us the brighter part, foster belief that there's always a brighter side after dark. Tamosoma Jyotirgamaya. I think this is a famous verse which goes very well for this festival. We are done with Deepavali. Next, we are going to move on to Ekadasi. Anu will go on to explain on Ekadasi.
Yeah. See, as we said, we've seen two beautiful festivals like Navaratri and Deepavali, which are very community oriented and really a lot of festivity and enjoyment. Now we look at one of the festivals which highlights a lot on tapas. Tapas means undergoing some kind of austerity. Now that austerity is very important because that it helps us change our typical patterns of behavior. You know, we may have certain habits and we don't want to move out of our comfort zone. So when we do a lot of tapas, we are able to move out of the comfort zone and push up the boundaries of our spiritual sadhanas, you see. This festival comes in the month of Margari. Okay, the month which, as I earlier shared, which is supposed to be the sacred month, which Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita. And this comes in the Ekadashi of the Margari Masam. Now, on this day, what happens is that there are a lot of, there is a story which goes for this, but there is a Puranic story, and which is that on this day, Lord Vishnu allowed two asuras, they were formerly the gatekeepers, Jaya and Vijaya, to enter Vaikunta, because he, in several births, they were, although they were all against him, Lord Vishnu defeated them, and then finally he allows them to enter Vaikunta. So then what they tell Lord Vishnu is that just like we, although we have committed a lot of crimes and we've done a lot of adharma, you finally forgave us and allowed us to enter Vaikunta. Similarly, you allow everybody to enter Vaikunta, show your grace on them and allow them to enter. So that is called the Vaikunta Dwar. That is why even now in all the temples, they will have a structure, you see, where you can enter through this through this dwar, through this gate into the temple, which is like symbolic of entering the Vaikunta. There is another story which says that Lord Vishnu killed a demon called Muran through his female energy. And that female energy was called Ekadashi. He killed this demon on an Ekadashi day, and this female energy is called Ekadashi. And he said that because of this auspiciousness, whoever observes a fast on this day, this Ekadashi, on any Ekadashi, fasting on any Ekadashi is very good, but particularly that Ekadashi, which is when the sun moves into the Dhanur Rashi, that is particularly sacred. Okay, and this is a great festival. Let us see how it is observed. It is there are many temples have special prayers. As I said, this is called the early morning. If you go to Perumal temple or Krishnan temple in Singapore, there is called what is called Swarga Vasal. That means the doors of heaven are opening. So everybody queues up, and as soon as the doors open, they all go in. Okay, it is symbolic. It's a day full of fasts, and there's a whole night vigil. People keep awake the whole night. See, as tough it is to not eat, it is even tougher to sacrifice sleep, because really it's very hard. But people do that so that they can get a lot of punya. And it's also called the Mokshada Ekadashi. And certain communities chant the entire Bhagavad Gita on Ekadashi. So use this opportunity. We will all use this opportunity on an Ekadashi, Vaikuntha Ekadashi particularly, to fully read the Bhagavad Gita and imbibe its message. The value of this prayer, of course, is heightened spiritual sadhana to gain punya, for especially for liberation. I mean, punya for also well-being, but definitely we all are aiming at some swarga in our mind, whatever that may be. It can be Vaikuntha, it can be Kailasha, it can be Goloka, or any other loka, or Kaivalya Mukti, but all of us in some or the other birth want liberation, and observing such fast is our first and the surest and the fastest path to liberation. We will also share a small, I also want to share what others are talking about fasting. See, today fasting is no longer a religious event. I mean, the secular world has also woken up to the merits of fasting. For example, Nobel Prize winner Oshinori Osumi, he has actually said about how fasting activates autophagy, which in fact slows down the aging process. Okay, because what fasting does is it rests your internal body, it rests your internal cell. And as he says, during starvation, cells break down proteins and other cell compounds and use them for energy. And during autophagy, cells destroy viruses, bacteria, get rid of damaged structures. It's a process that is critical for cell health, renewal, and survival. Today, internet is full of intermittent fasts. You know, Twitter head Jack Dorsey is also doing intermittent fasting. But you know, our rishis, I must brag again, our rishis knew this, and they have prescribed a lot of vratas for us. The king of all the vratas are, of course, Vaikuntha Ekadashi and later Shivaratri, which Sita will talk about. Again, these people have won the Nobel Prize for Physiology or Medicine in 2018, James Allison and Tasuku Honjo. And then they say that fasting is very important because it builds immunity. That's the key thing. Today, the word is immunity is the most important thing, especially in a COVID world. And how do you build immunity? By not just popping pills, but by fasting. And fasting, keeping God in mind, is not only builds immunity, not only energizes you, but also gets you loads of punya. Now, Swami Jnanavatsal will talk a little bit about Ekadashi Vrata. Please see the video.
Every aspect of spirituality helps a lot. Who got the Nobel Prize for Medicine this time? Dr. Honjo and Dr. Allison. What did they prove? That human body is capable of protecting itself from cancer. The T cells in the WBC, the white blood cells, each T cell has the power to kill 1,000 cancerous cells. But we, with our wrong food habits, sleeping habits, waking up, other habits, we have suppressed the power of these T cells. And you know how this power comes back to you? Now the new therapy in cancer, we used to have radiotherapy, we used to chemotherapy, and then we have the surgery. Now the new is immunotherapy. Now the new is immunotherapy, where you make strong your immune system. That is the T cells power. Each T cell has the power to kill 1,000 cells, cancerous cells. And you know, they said by experiments, Dr. Honjo and Dr. Allison, the 2018 Nobel Prize for Medicine, they said that if you do a waterless fast twice a month, that is every 15 days, your T cells will come back to your original power. That is what we call Ekadashi, Nirjal Upas. Every aspect of spirituality has a physical, mental, and emotional impact on you. And then he diluted the final result. He said if you can't go waterless for 24 hours, at least 20 days in a week, you can go on Google and search what I'm talking. At least 20 days in a year. 20 days in a year, if you can go for 10 hours waterless. Not while you are sleeping, okay, at night. When you are awake, when the sun is on top of you, and you are in the midst of some activity. Those 10 hours, if you go waterless, at least 20 days in a year, both these doctors have proved that the immunotherapy will work. Your immune system will be so strong, your T cells will come back to its original power, and there are least and least chances of your body getting affected by cancer. Every aspect of spirituality is right. So keep faith in scriptures, keep faith in the sayings of great saints, keep faith in culture, tradition, values, ethics, that is work-life balance.
Wow, that's a wonderful message, Swamiji. Keep the faith going. And now Sita will go take you through the world of the other festivals.
Pongal. Pongal is a harvest festival. It is celebrated very grandly over different parts of India. And it's a 4-day celebration. It is a time when the sun transits the zodiac sign to Magara, that is Capricorn, and moves towards the north. Sun is the vital force for all the living beings. So this is a way of expressing and showing gratitude to our sun god and also to all the living beings. And on the eve of Navaratri, in the south, they celebrate Bouquet. Bouquet is the season where you get rid of all the unnecessary things in your life and begin life afresh. So it's not only throwing away material things, but it's also a way of cleaning up ourselves internally. And in the Punjab, they also celebrate harvest festival and they call it as Lohri. And in Assam, they celebrate it as Bihu. So you can see a lot of dance, fun, and excitement during this festival. Pongal or Makara Sankranti Day, you can see lots of people also take a dip in the holy rivers. And then they pay their respect and salutation to Surya, the sun god. And in the northern part of India, they also have fun by making big and huge kites and flying. So you can see the community gathering together to celebrate the function. And on Pongal Day, in the north, they do it as dil rice. Whereas in the south, we call it as chakra pongal. So we use the jaggery and we make chakra pongal. So when the milk is boiling, the family members gather together and chorously say Pongalo Pongal. So it's very nice. And after Pongal, the next day is Matu Pongal. This is to celebrate animals. Pongal is Matu Pongal, which honors all animals that traditionally play an important role in agriculture. And on this day, bulls and cows are pampered and fed with nice food and worship as an expression of gratitude. The Makara Sankranti or Pongal festivities have various ingredients of cleansing, of appreciating and expressing gratitude to all the creatures that are involved in our lives. Now let's look at Thaipusam. Thaipusam is one of the festivals which is celebrated very grandly in Singapore and also in Malaysia. The word Thaipusam can be broken into two words, Thai and Pusam. Thai is one of the months in Tamil calendar which falls between mid-January and February. And Pusam is the name of the star. So Thaipusam is observed in the month of Thai when the star Pusam coincides or around the full moon day. It's a day of thanksgiving and paying penance for Lord Muruga. And there's a story behind this Thaipusam. Who is Idamban? Idamban is an Asura who fought Surabatman against Lord Muruga. And one of the few Asuras who survived the war and repented. And he became the disciple of Agastya. Hence, Agastya ordered Idamban to uproot two hills, Sivagiri and Shaktigiri. So Idamban flew to Mount Kailai and he carried them in the form of Kavadi across his shoulders. When he reached Parani, he took a rest and placed the Kavadi down. And watching this, a small little boy was laughing at Idamban, and that made Idamban very upset and furious. So he started to fight with the little boy. And at the end, Idamban was killed. His life was restored when his wife Idambi prayed and sought to Lord Muruga for forgiveness. And our dear merciful Lord Muruga definitely got Idamban to come back alive. And after that, Idamban realized the small boy was Lord Muruga. Idamban sought forgiveness and became very devoted to Lord Muruga. From that day, every morning at 4 a.m., Idamban will carry a pot of milk and a pot of water up to the Palani Malay to perform Abhishekam for Lord Muruga. So that form, attitude or bhava is carried out now, and we call that as kavadi, and it's full of devotion. Anyone who comes to Palani Malay to worship Murugan with an object similar to the kavadi will be granted their wish. That is a belief until today. And every pilgrim is expected to offer their respect to Idamban before entering the temple of Lord Muruga. Thus, we have Idamban's shrine halfway up the hill. History of Thaipusam in Singapore. It started somewhere in the 19th century in Singapore and Malaya. And it's closely associated with the Dandaidavani temple, which was established by the Natukotai Chettiars community. So this is a postcard in 1927. And back then, kavadis were taken like this. And that is the chariot before the Thaipusam. And then kavadi followed by, they even used to have fireworks. Let's look at the kavadis at the present. So you can see Palkudam, and you can see Sangli Kavadi, Veil Kavadi, and this is the Kavadi where like how the Idamban was carrying one, but here I think the person is carrying 2 pots of milk. So what is Vrida? Vrida is a physical, verbal, and mental discipline that one undertakes to purify oneself in the spiritual path. So what are the things you need to perform? Forbearance, truthfulness, charity, cleanliness, control of sense organs, worship, ubhavasa, that's fasting, compassion, cheerfulness, and reciting of hymns, and chanting and doing japa. And things that you need to avoid. Meat, I'm not only saying for people who are non-veg, even for vegetarian. If you're eating like 3 meals, maybe you go to 2 meals. Or maybe you take 1 meal rice and the second one just take fruits and milk. And unnecessary association with opposite gender, over-grooming, idle taking, gossiping, anger, minimize your anger. So at the end of the day, if you were to see at Thaipusam, when you surrender with full-heartedly, like how the Devas surrendered to Ishvara, you will definitely be blessed. So what we need is the bhava and the sincerity to the Lord. And he will definitely grant us all our wish. And with this jnana veil, we will vanquish all the undivine forces that attack us during the spiritual path and emerge victoriously. Now let's look at Shivaratri. Shivaratri is celebrated somewhere between mid-February and March. It's in the month of Masi. Okay, let's look at significance of Shivaratri. There are many stories or incidents from the Puranas associated with Shiva linked to the celebration of Shivaratri. The appearance of Shiva as a ray of light to show that he has no beginning or an end. And it's also a day where Shiva drank the Alakala poison which emerged from the ocean, was churned by the Asuras and the Devas. And night when Shiva and Parvati got married. A night when Shiva danced the dance of creation, preservation, and dissolution. Many temples hold dance concerts to commemorate the festival. Okay, there's a story for Shivaratri. There's this king, he was, this hunter became a king. And why he became a king in his next birth, that's where this story of Shivaratri comes in. And that king's name was Chitrabhanu. Okay, this story is recounted from Vrida Chudamani as a confirmation of belief of observation of Shivaratri Vrida. Let's look at the story. Okay, in Varanasi, a hunter named Suswara had killed a deer and couldn't go home on time as he was overtaken by the darkness of the night. He took shelter at the Bilva tree. To keep himself awake, he plucked Bilva leaves and dropped them on the ground. And he shed tears thinking of his wife and children starving at home. Okay, and he didn't realize that what he was dropping, the Bilva leaves onto the ground, actually there was a linga. And his tears was like Abhishekam for Lord Shiva. And at dawn, he sold the deer meat, and on his way back home, a stranger begged for food. He also offered some food, and he went back home and he ate with his family. So he also did some charity. In the olden days, you know, the 63 Nayanmar, the 63 Nayanmars, they used to have like always, the devotees always will offer some food to Shiva and Adiyars, the saints or the followers of Shiva. And only then they will consume food. So you can see here also as the hunter, he offered the food to someone who has begged for it, and then he went home and ate his food. Okay, the jungle here represents the wild animal. The jungle represents our mind. Okay, and it's a fourfold mind. So it is, it's the chitta, buddhi, ahankara, and manas. So what is these four animals? I mean, all the animals. It's the lust, anger, greed, infatuation, jealousy, and hatred. And in this mind, we need to tame all these animals. So the yogis call the Ajna Chakra as the name of Varanasi at this point, which is midway between our eyebrows. So a seeker is always instructed to focus or concentrate at our middle point of our eyebrow. The climbing of the tree represents the ascension of the Kundalini Shakti, which is the lowest nerve center called the Muladhara, and we rise up to the Ajna Chakra. And the two physical eyes to see the past and present, whereas the third eye reveals the light and insight of the future. And you can see there's always 4 color Abhishekam going on. Okay, they pour milk, most of the times it's milk, but they have rose milk, rose water, the paneer, sandanam, and water, elanir, that's tender coconut. There's many other things. Why is it? There is a link for it also. The 4 color Abhisheka during Shivaratri represent the waking, dreaming, sleep state, and the underlying reality of the Turiya. So all festivals Vrida aim to reduce the Rajas and the Tamas gunas in an individual and increase the Sattvic guna in us. So on this night, the northern hemisphere of the planet is positioned in such a way that there is natural upsurge of energy in a human being. So like Ekadasi, for Shivaratri also, staying awake with your spine virtually upright will provide an opportunity to dissolve the limitedness and experience the unboundedness. Okay, here I would like to also highlight, staying awake doesn't mean that you sit and watch a movie or play cards. Here, you should be totally thinking of God by meditating or doing some japa or reciting the holy name of Lord Shiva. And this is the night to be awakening for all of us. Okay, that's the end. And the festivals are combinations, if you are to see as a summary, the festivals are combinations of religious ceremonies, rituals, practical ritual spectacles, prayer, purification, culture, charity, and also nurturing of art. And you can see that all these activities purify and prevent malicious influences, and it stimulates our vital powers of nature. So the term Utsava meaning both the generation and of power and a festival. And if you were to see, most of our festivals are cyclical life of nature. So by doing such festivals, it prevents it from stagnating. It refreshes the mood of the participants and consciousness of their own power. So it requires the participation of the entire community and create harmony. So all these bring us towards the punya and merit. And with that, I end the presentation and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anuradha and Sita Lakshmi, for a very informative talk. You have given us many insights about the range, diversity, and practices of Hindu festivals. Some of the questions which have been asked, you have probably already anticipated them and answered them. For instance, one particular one I had in mind was, given the number of festivals and the range of festivals, how does one decide which one to celebrate? And you had a very clear slide about precisely how one can look at deities and therefore be able to decide from there which ones you should celebrate. There are, however, a few questions, and I would be forwarding these to you for your responses. Now, Hindus generally celebrate the festivals with a lot of jubilation, utsav, as you had mentioned, right? Utsav, and in a crowd. Is it all right for us to instead celebrate in our mind internally, quietly, through meditation and prayer, rather than externally through celebrations?
Can I take that? Can I answer that question?
Yes.
Please.
It's a very good question. It's a common, I mean, we have this doubt. I mean, do I need to celebrate in some show off? Can I just sit in my room and just meditate upon God? Yes, you can. But before that, I want to also say that each action depends, each result needs a particular action. For example, if I need gross happiness, I want a car, I want to get married, I want to have children, I want to get gross things for enjoyment, then I need to offer, my karma has to be also in gross form. That means I have to celebrate physically and offer things in a prayer, because what you offer to nature is what you get back. That's how nature works. Nature responds, what you offer to nature, you get back. So if I want physical happiness, this is what I have to offer that. Then the question is, whether can I just sit and meditate? See, now meditation, what will meditation get us? Meditation will get us what is called chitta shuddhi, purity of mind. So the mind gets purification. So if my aim is that I want to get a mental purification, because my aim is only to get liberation, then perfectly fine. You can mentally perform the same activity and do it. So, but if your goal is enjoyments and happiness, then definitely you need to do physical puja. And at the same time, I must add that even if your goal is liberation, you have to do the physical puja, because that alone will get you the punya.
The punya.
Get you purification of mind. But sometimes purification of mind may not be enough, because if I have some baggage and some papa karmas and I have lots of obstacles in my life, our life is a good measure. If I have lots of obstacles, then meditation alone won't work. We need to do physical puja to get the benefits, you see.
There's actually a follow-up question to that. So how does one learn then how to actually celebrate these festivals? Because there are certain practices and rituals associated with the celebration of each festival. And how would you encourage people to go about the process of learning that process?
We have, of course, I mean, for those who are living in Singapore, and of course, today we have all over the world, we have a lot of classes, where we can teach how these pujas are done. I mean, I want to use this as an opportunity to also highlight that Hindu Center holds a lot of classes explaining how puja can be done, how each puja can be done, and then how do you observe it. And then we also have different occasions where we celebrate these festivals at the Hindu Center. So you can see how it's celebrated and go and observe them in your homes. That, if you're not coming to Hindu Center, it's okay, it's not an issue. There are a lot of these puja vidhana books, you see, which actually tell you how to observe a particular festival in your home. So they have descriptions both in English and in other languages, and you can buy those books, do them, and in every there are priests, you can call them home and get these pujas done. So there are enough opportunities to do it. If you have any doubts on how to observe a festival, please write it to the Hindu Center, and our volunteers will get in touch with you and explain to you how this can be done.
And I'm sure that's very useful information. Rob.
Yes.
I also have a couple of questions on specific festivals. One of these relates to the harvesting season festivals that Sita, that you had mentioned, Pongal and Lodi, for instance.
Yeah.
What is their relevance to modern urban Singapore, given that these are fundamentally harvesting festivals?
Okay, though we don't have harvest in Singapore, but we still need to nurture the nature because of global warming and all that. So we need to have respect for our nature by growing plants, taking care of plants, even using the 3 R's, the recycle, reduce, and all that. So all that is part of the harvesting we are doing. So that's how we can contribute in Singapore. Hope I explained.
Yes, you did, very, very much so. Thank you for the clarification. There's yet another one, and I will bring it up. It's about Abhishekam, since you had mentioned Abhishekam, the pouring of milk and water. So since there's a lot of discussion on wastage of food, is that to be seen as some kind of wastage? Why particularly is milk used in Abhishekam?
Okay, here I would like to highlight, actually when you're doing Abhishekam, you're doing with so much of bhakti, devotion and bhava. Okay, and when you're doing Abhishekam, there's transferring of energy that's happening. If you want to know more, there's under the Easy Hinduism series where Miss Soundarya had give elaborate explanation. So it's available in YouTube and you can watch over it.
Okay.
I also wanted to add here, I know people talk about wastage, and definitely we should not waste any resources because it is all scarce. But as the principle of prayer is, you offer something to nature, and nature gives it back to you. Whatever we're offering, whether it is food, I get it back in those same things, you see. That's the principle. That is what in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, that if you do yajna, you offer anything to the devatas will give it back to you in the form of rain, in the form of prosperity. So let us not think that anything we have offered to God is everything. He doesn't need our 1 liter of milk. But whatever we offer to God comes back to us, you see.
I'm sure that response clarifies the doubt
Yes.
wherever it had occurred. I know that you had mentioned the celebration of Deepavali or Diwali, and the fact that it comes from somewhat different reasons for celebration, and how it could be to celebrate the destruction of Narakasur, or it could be Rama's return to his kingdom after an exile of 14 years. So according to the Shastras, is there any correct reason, or is it fine? As it happens, both reasons coexist in harmony, and the celebrations are universal, as you pointed out, and joyful. So this is not so much about that. It's more just, do the Shastras have anything to say about this?
I don't exactly know about Shastras, but both Rama and Krishna are avatar of Mahavishnu. So it all depends which part of the continent you come from, which part of India. So the northern side, they are more worshipping of Lord Rama. They don't worship Krishna, but the stories that's what been told to them is about Lord Rama. Whereas in the south, is more of Naragasura story is being told to us, and that's how we grew up. And there is one of the Purana story, but often I can't remember the name, but it mentions about Deepavali lighting and about also Naragasura.
Okay.
Anu, you want to add on anything else?
Yeah, see, the Hindu tradition recognizes diversity, okay? So it knows that in different places, different stories are woven around. And these are not just some picked up story, but different incidents. So each, and that they celebrated. So if we, in North, it is the coming of Rama, in the South, it is killing of Narakasura by Krishna, it's fine, because that's how we are a huge country and lots of people use this, and they have the different Puranas give different stories. So there's really no one reason, but they all celebrate Deepavali. So that's how it's looked at.
Okay. We have time for one more question which has come in, which is that some Hindus take the festival holidays to go on vacation, etc. So what would you advise them to do about the practice of these festivals, the celebration of these festivals?
I think from young, we should teach our kids the values. Each festival has a value, and it's actually bringing us to the path of spirituality, the Sattvic gunas. And there's they imbibe a lot of values. Each festival has a value. If you take about Pongal, you are showing gratitude for nature. If you are talking about Shivaratri or Ekadasi, is on the Sattvic of the Vrada, the importance, also leading you to the spiritual path. If you're going on vacation, you don't get to practice all this. So at the end of the day, our importance is to seek spiritual enlightenment. That is our goal of life, as what Anu had presented in the beginning of the slides. So our goal is enlightenment. So all these practices lead us to the enlightenment. It's not just celebration, but also guiding us to the spiritual path.
Yes, I want to just say, of course, even I go on holiday, I enjoy myself, I do a lot of shopping. At the end of your holiday, you have memories, you have pictures, you have social media posts. But what you don't get out of a festival is punya. And the only thing that can get us punya is festivals. So that's why there is just simply no comparison, you see. Festivals are the most wonderful way of accumulating punya, and there is no greater wealth than punya for all of us.
Okay. On that wonderful note, all that remains for me now is to thank you both, Anuradha ji and Sita Lakshmi ji, for your enlightening presentation and for further shedding light via your responses to the questions that we received. And a big thank you to the audience for your enthusiasm and interest in this fascinating topic. Thank you and namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, Neelamji, for moderating, and of course, Hindu Center for giving us this opportunity, and for all the audience that participated on a Sunday afternoon. Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Now, coming up after this, at 7 p.m., we have a session entitled Ask Me Anything. If any of you have any questions or need any clarification, our panel will be happy to respond to them. As you all know, this Festival of Hinduism 2020 has been organized by the Hindu Center over the last few days. And over the last few days, the Hindu Center has presented a bouquet of insightful presentations ranging across topics such as the key tenets, worldview, and rituals of Hinduism, Ramayana, and the Gita, God and worship and chants, meditation and mindfulness, vegetarianism, astrology, numerology, temple architecture, Vastu Shastra, music and dance, and festivals, as well as a tour of Hindu holy places. In short, an impressive and a fascinating and most informative collection of talks. All the videos, in case you missed any of these talks, all the videos are available on the Hindu Center YouTube channel and Facebook page.
I'm still very
If you want to be informed of Hindu Center's activities, please sign up for the WhatsApp at the Hindu Center broadcast group, and you will receive timely notices of different events taking place. There's the phone number on the slide up here. Do send a message to the number shown here and give your name and email ID, and Hindu Center will be happy to inform you of the events which are coming up. In 2019, the Hindu Center is a charity which was formed in 1978 to promote greater awareness of Hinduism, as well as to raise the knowledge of our Vedic scriptures and practices. The center's activities are based on the three pillars of Jnana, Bhakti, and Seva. And each of these pillars supports a range of activities. In 2019, Hindu Center delivered over 25,000 beneficiary hours in prisons and old age homes. Your support will allow us to deliver even more in the coming years. You can also volunteer your time and expertise through our various projects. You can make your donation at www.hinducenter.org.sg/donations. It's stated there, or through the QR code shown here. One-time or regular donations are welcome. Please support generously. In conclusion, I would like to warmly thank you for your strong support for the festival events. Thank you very much, and namaste. We will conclude with the closing prayers. Now, these are some of the loop of the happenings at the Hindu Center, the talks also for children, the Bala Guru Kalam, the Hinduism forums, question answer sessions, etc.
Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kashchid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.